the west coast of Orange County, California. From the Pacific perspective to the Atlantic perspective. From liberal craziness to conservative idealism. From Christianity to atheism belief systems. Welcome to the TheGrayZone Roundtable with Rectify and Wingman at Revolution Radio. FreedomSlips.com.
What's up, all the good people out there of Revolution Radio? This is Rectify, along with my co-host Wingman.
Good day, good morning from the UK. Most of us are sleeping right now.
Good morning from the West Coast here in California. But yeah, this is a roundtable, the Gray Zone. Let me give out the number right off the bat so we can get some callers in there. 347-688-2902. 347-688-2902. You can Skype us over at Freedom Screen. Just send a contact request. We'll get you in here. That's Freedom Screen on Skype. All of our archives you can find at the Gray Zone Radio on YouTube, Free Revolution Radio, and Talk Revolution Radio. And thank you, Noreen, at the Wild Heart Roundtable, which precedes. Thank you, Noreen, for the shout out. Yeah, freedomslips.com, 100% listener supported worldwide radio. We're short. We got a couple $100 we need to still get. We got only a couple days left. Please, people, a couple bucks out of every one of your pockets and we'll get this taken care of, no problem. Out of tens of thousands of listeners, even a quarter each. We have a PayPal. Visit freedomslips.com. There's a site support button. If you're in the chat room, there's a donate button. It's even easier for, people that don't know what site support means. But none of us get paid. None of the producers, engineers, nor hosts, nor Nighthawk, the owner. So it is all going to electricity, bandwidth, and to pay the bills so we can go another month to keep hopefully entertaining you and bringing you the top of the line news. Yeah, we've also been joined by Heather Holman. It's always good to have a female voice on the line. How you doing?
Good. How are you, buddy?
I'm hanging in there. How are you? You good? Good?
Yeah, long time no talk.
Yeah, it's been a while. So yeah, what are we going to get into tonight? I got a list of news, but everybody does that.
I got a good one just to start it off. I got a windstorm over here, so I don't know how my connection's going to be. So there was the Korean ferry boat that crashed. Rectify, you hear about that?
Right.
Okay, and you know how the teacher hung himself or something, the assistant principal?
Okay.
Okay, do you know that this was on the 33rd parallel?
Yeah, so it must have been a sacrifice.
It must have been.
Yeah.
Just to concur with what Steve Travesty, I guess, was saying.
I heard Pony was correlating something like that with the stars and something to do with the age of the fish or something.
Well, it all has to do with that killing field, I think I know, but
Pony gets out there with some of his
Ghostbusters
theories. Yeah, sometimes it's hard to maintain, but I try holding on to and grasping, what he's getting at. It's crazy. I could believe the rabbit hole being as crazy as Pony puts it. Trust me, I've seen crazier things, but it's hard to understand. His mind just flies with that.
I love crazy. It reminds me of that film with Mel Gibson. Everything's in containers, all this stuff on the walls. I bet his house has got all these news clippings all over the walls, and then he's got 5 locks on the door. And
but think about it. Think about it. All the time when he has this intuitive, his own crazy insight, it's usually something that is right on. So I'll get it.
It's Noreen Helphand.
Hi, Noreen.
Hey, everybody. How you guys doing?
Hi, Noreen.
Hey, okay. Wow, awesome. Awesome. I'm sorry, Heather, go ahead. You were talking about the Korean ferry. I think that's a really intriguing subject, and go ahead.
So we were talking about it a little bit yesterday, Noreen knows a lot of, she's been staying on top of the story, so she knows all of the logistics of it. And it'd be interesting to hear what Pony has to say at this point, too. You know, Noreen, do you know Pony?
Yeah, of course, but I don't remember him extrapolating upon this particular incident, but I mean, I'm sure, you know, he has an opinion. I didn't get to hear it, but...
Right.
Yeah, he was on Deacon John earlier today.
Okay.
Yeah, it was all about that and a bunch of other different incidents that tie in with all kinds of symbolic type of ritualistic type of astrological type of esoteric type.
In other words, connecting to the fairy incident, yeah, I would agree. That sounds pretty much like that's involved, yeah.
It's like the Titanic, right? You know, they did that for a ritualist.
Wasn't there some pact, in Korea in 1984? There was some pact. It was like a political thing. I don't know if anybody knows what I'm talking about.
I know today is April 29th, right? 2014. I just want to put that on the record. But you guys know that Sublime song called April 29th, 1992.
Oh, that's right.
But in the lyrics, though, they say April 26th, 1992, even though the song title's called April 29th. I just thought I'd throw that out as a fun fact of the day. So that was about the LA riots, the Rodney King beating.
Yeah.
Sublime. Rest in peace, Bradley.
Exactly. Wow, that's crazy.
So, what other shenanigans? Again, incidentally, it's one of my favorite words of the day.
Oh, I gotta drop a link right now in the chat room because right now we have a solar eclipse.
That's right.
Australia is stoked, but I do have a link for live webcams. So I'm gonna drop that in the chat room for everybody. They can watch while they listen.
And when's that?
It's going on right now, actually, as we speak, 2:00 Eastern.
Wow.
So yeah,
I tell you what,
link will be in the chat room at freedomslips.com.
Have you guys ever experienced a total eclipse? Not a partial one, but a total one?
I think once in my life.
Yeah, it's... The funny thing, I remember first time I did it, it was on because there was parts of England that it was like you'd see a total one, and it was on the west coast in Plymouth, the kind of pointed bit of the UK, if you imagine the UK map. So I went there with a kind of work do, and I didn't really know what to expect, apart from it was going to get dark, obviously. But so it was right on the beachfront, and the beach was packed, and there was quite an atmosphere. And anyway, so it started. Obviously, the eclipse started to happen. But when the full eclipse happened, there was like an electricity in the air. I didn't know it would be as profound as it was. Quite spiritual. I'll be honest with you. It was quite a moment, and it was as though, you know, like a gust of wind comes your way. Well, it's like a gust of energy, and I'm not sure if it was the reaction of the people there, or it was just something that kind of followed the eclipse in a way, but it was a real moment, and it was like, wow. And I just kind of, you know, imagined historically how many times this has happened, and how many people felt that moment too. And it was quite, you know, it meant something, you know. It was a moment, and I'm glad I did it, you know. But so I certainly recommend, if you get the opportunity, definitely go for it, you know.
What were those Brazilian kids? I think it was Brazil or Argentinian kids. The day of the Fata, where they saw a disc, you know, shaking in front of the sun. Fatima? Someone help me out here.
Fatima,
yes.
Hakuna Matata?
No, it was this event. Go ahead, Heather, explain it.
I'm not sure. I think it's just an apparition. Noreen, what do you know?
Oh, shoot, you could be right. No, what I know about that one is, let me see, that was in 1910, 12, 13, that era, and that was in Portugal. And that
Lourdes? It wasn't something of Lourdes?
You know,
it was a bunch of Catholic kids, I know this. And they were forbidden to do what they did, but they still did it. And they witnessed something.
Oh, Fatima.
Yeah. Fatima, yes. Mm-hmm.
What, Wingman?
Or there's another one called, there's Fatima. There's two, I think, popular ones in Spain. The Fatima, which was a long time ago, and then you've got the Kids of Garabandal, I think the place was called. And the two in different instances. And one of them they gave a secret to the church. There was
that might be it.
it's either Fatima's Secrets or Virgin
That's
Mary's
it.
Secret.
That's the
And
one.
there's like three or four. It's a while ago, so I do forgive. But it's 3 or 4 secrets, and I think 3 of them have been revealed, but the 4th one hasn't, and is still with the papacy or whoever. Like,
I think what Rectify's talking about is more like this thing that happened where the sky got dark, but then there was like a rainbow circle, and it got really small in the sky, and it had all the bright of the sky, or I don't know, it was just like a phenomenon that included a rainbow and
But he is talking about that one. That's exactly it.
same thing.
Yeah, it is. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Heather.
They all
Oh,
got
that's
pulled
okay.
into a trance. Basically, it was like a UFO that was dancing in front of the sun at like high noon. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh, I took
think
a picture of that.
I think it erupted into rain right after also, and there wasn't really clouds in the sky. Something crazy like that. But yeah, that's Fatima, Fatima.
Fatima, I think is how you pronounce it. I'm not sure. Fatima?
With an H on the end.
so Heather, you said you took a picture of what?
I'm gonna find it on my Facebook. I took a picture when the day that they had I think it was Venus crossing the sun in our daytime. Do you guys remember that? It was about a year ago maybe or something. They had Venus
I recall.
transit.
Yeah.
I took a picture of that exactly at the time. I took a picture of the sun and not seeing anything with, my naked eye, but I took a picture of the sun, and it was the strangest picture I've ever seen. I'm going to share it with you, and it's not photoshopped or anything. I'll put it in the chat room too at Freedom.
Awesome.
I remember because I got into kind of watching the Soho cams for a while. You know, the ones observing the sun. Satellites observing the sun, and I remember watching Mercury go, very similar to the Venus transit in front of the sun. And you know how Mercury is referred to as the winged messenger? Well, lo and behold, I was a bit blown away by the image of Mercury because it didn't look like a round planet going towards the sun. It looked like a bird. That whatever the light was bouncing off it or whatever, and I'll send you a picture because you've got to see it to believe it. I've got a picture somewhere, and it literally looks like a bird, and it makes me think, well, maybe that's why it's referred to as the winged messenger.
Exactly.
But it was quite an incredible sight actually. I was like, what am I seeing here? Couldn't believe it.
That is weird.
Speaking of weird, we had deadly tornadoes throughout the Midwest and the South today. There's actually fatalities. 9 reported dead so far up in Mississippi,
crazy.
Alabama area, or down in Mississippi and Alabama, and 15 up in the Arkansas area. And that tornado actually moved into Kansas, and we're still waiting on reports from that. Hope stuff's safe. Yeah, it is crazy because it was like an entire line of tornado activity just sweeping the continent.
And the timing, not to interrupt, but the timing of that was odd. At this time, is that usual for there?
Not at all. No.
I don't think so.
We should be getting rain, a lot of rain, April showers bring May flowers, but we should be past that season.
Is April showers bring May flowers, but what do May flowers bring?
A lot of pollen, a lot of sneezing.
Pilgrims.
Ah, that's cute. I like it. Cute. I like that.
Speaking of pilgrims, they're changing Columbus Day to a new name. It's called the Aboriginal Day or something like that. Like the Respect the Aboriginals Day or something. Just to be politically correct, of course.
Of course.
Just like they were bitching about the name of the Washington Redskins is racist, needs to be changed.
Yeah, I don't know about that because I think in those days, wasn't that kind of a weird, kind of a way of saying we respect them? I don't know if that's true, and so maybe it's not, but
I don't know. Everything's been twisted back and forth so many times. His story is not my story. I use my heart and I go one step at a time, one step and 1 foot at a time in front of the other, one day at a time. That's it. Can't judge. Everybody's equal. I hate them all equally.
I like that line.
So what's going on with your leg? I heard you had a little fall.
No, I didn't fall. It was very strange. A lot of us have been having strange...
That was Lorian that fell down.
Yeah.
Everybody's hurting themselves. What's wrong with you girls?
I think it's the planet.
Gravity.
It's the planet. No, well, I'll explain. Me and Heather, she had it in her arm. I had it in my leg where I just couldn't walk for a couple of days. I was limping. I'm okay now, and I was asking her, Heather, if your arm is better now.
Oh, yeah, it is.
No, so what happened? Someone shoot you or what?
No, we just had, cramping, huh?
You need bananas. You need potassium.
Maybe we do. I think Douglas Dietrich even had something a little bit going on.
I think that Lorian's situation was, more of, a poltergeist experience or something like that.
You guys think it could be the radiation? Because I cut my hair today, right? I shaved my own hair, hairs. And I have my wife, square off the back. And she's like, wow, there's hardly any hair on your neck where I normally would shave off a bunch.
Uh-oh.
Right. So
I'm
wondering if it's related to Fukushima.
It could be that, or stress, or genetics, or it could be Fukushima, something. It's could be a lot of things.
Because the media just now told us last week that it's finally arriving on our shores.
Finally?
Which is a bunch of, BS. Yeah.
What's arriving?
Oh, all the radiation in the Pacific from...
Oh, okay.
From Japan.
Yeah, you seem to be feeling rectify a lot of these effects.
I can't skip the symptoms. Every symptom I have, it lines up. It's kind of eerie.
That is odd. I mean,
it only takes one hot particle to get inside your lung or, inside your thyroid gland, and it's going to cause effect all over your entire system.
Yeah, you may be getting hit with it harder, you're sensitive to it, but I think a lot of people, I'm just kind of sort of getting over that skin thing, but I think you and I had some of that going on, and
I'm healing from it too. How funny.
Yeah. But that's because I've been taking, which I hate doing, I hate it, but I have been taking antibiotics, but I've been taking probiotics at the same time to kind of counteract it, so maybe that's good, but very, and I hate taking medicines, but I don't know, the whole thing is weird.
Especially antibiotics, if you do too many, your immune system gets all screwed up, and then if you really need them, they're not going to do anything for you.
But I think I really needed it, because I've been fighting this thing off and on for quite a while, and there was nothing helping it, so. Respiratory,
right?
No, this was skin.
The skin issue? Oh, okay. So you think it was a bacteria, then?
Yeah, and I'm not sure if it's radiation. It's been going on a while, but there's a lot of toxins in our environment, you guys, and I think that's just to be said, about what causes a lot of these ailments that people have, and then also pollen too, creating allergic reactions more than normal.
You guys want to hear something scary that I came across today in PDF? Senate Bill 1476. It's an act. Title 26, Chapter 2, Article 1, Arizona Revised Statutes. Okay, basically this is, the division shall develop preparedness recommendations for the public regarding the type and quantity of supplies, including food, water, and medical supplies, that each person in this state should possess in preparation for an electromagnetic pulse that might occur over the United States. The division shall post the preparedness recommendations on its website and shall update the preparedness recommendations at least every 5 years. For the purpose of this section, electromagnetic pulse means a burst of electromagnetic energy occurring in the form of a radiated electric magnetic field or conducted electrical current caused by a coronal mass ejection from the sun, detonation of a nuclear bomb high in the Earth's upper atmosphere, or a man-made electromechanical device. So Arizona's got an act out there that's they got a group getting together on taxpayer money.
And for anybody that has seen Star Trek,
for EMPs.
Yeah, the Next Generation, they what they're doing, and they're exactly what you just explained. They have a reenactment of it or whatever. I found it on YouTube. I'd never even seen that movie, but it's exactly what you explained. I'll post that in the chat too.
Wow, that's
Kind of
ironic.
scary that they're coming, to the public forum with that possibility. We always talk about it on the fringe side, but
for it to be real, it's crazy.
right.
Talking of pulses.
Heather and me will get it.
Speaking of full shift, we've been joined by Steve Travis.
But why am I a pole shift?
You're shifting us in the third gear, brother.
He can tell us exactly what it is that I'm talking about.
I haven't even been paying attention. I kind of came on here to I wanted to just basically ask rectify.
We're talking about the Nexus, the solar ribbons, and the electromagnetic rectify.
Well, Wingman actually was saying something right as you came in the door, so go ahead, Wingman.
Oh yeah, firstly have a look at the pic. I posted the picture that I was talking about, the Mercury picture.
Mm-hmm.
So I put it in chat and in here. So if you have a look at that.
You guys are catching a lot of nice conjunctions with your own cameras. That's cool.
No, yeah. Talking of pulses, I went into A&E the other day, and basically I was having a really bad, right at the solar plexus. I was having a really crushing pain there, and so I went into it. I didn't know what it was. I called up the hospital, and they told me they wanted to send a paramedic and ambulance out, but. I said I'd go in myself. But no, my heart's okay. It might have been broken a while ago, but my heart's okay. And
damn.
yeah. No, I think what it is, and I think this is to do with foods and GMO and all that stuff. But
absolutely,
there's something going on with my pancreas. It's like or the gallbladder, which produces the bile and all the acids to digest food, and it's not working. All that area is really painful. And I don't know if it's hereditary, genetic, or because there is such a thing as
environmental, bro. I'm with you.
Yeah, and so that's still hurting to some extent. I don't really know what to do. I've tried everything, but it's like I'm putting on weight, and I don't eat that much at all. I have a small plate of food a day.
Have you tried probiotic like Acidophilus?
That's
I've tried.
Right now. Yeah.
I've got the probiotic. With certain cultures in it, in the yogurt or whatever. I'm doing that. Nothing's working though. It's really getting me down a little bit. Profidius or something like that. I can't remember what it's called. Oh.
We've been joined by Oz and also 425, which was
hello.
1 second quicker than Oz. 425, what's your name? Where are you calling from? What's on your mind?
Yeah, Rectify. I just want to let everybody know out there that I got a problem with Skype, so I couldn't do my show tonight. So it doesn't matter who
welcome. I mean, this is a round table. You're welcome to kick back as long as you don't eat us alive, man.
That's right, Jack. I got a problem with you, buddy. Right. And here it is. No, I'm joking.
Should we try to do B2 then? Can we do that?
No, we're not going to go that route because that's out of protocol.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Well, hijacker, is he still going to stay?
Well, that's what I was calling. What I'm saying is that you ought to simulcast the show at least over on
yeah,
because
I tried to call you,
I actually don't have keys to that server, so. But yeah,
what if
we can just hang out here. People will figure it out. They can click the other button and yeah.
I think Justin was up. I think he can simulcast
he did come on, Jacko. He came on for about 30 seconds and then went off again, just said that it's working, announced that your show's not there and hung up. And, but I tried ringing you, I couldn't get through to you. So.
Heather, if you'd like, you can go ahead and try to drag in B right to our conversation right now and we'll see what we get. But you'd have to stick with us because you'd be the host for that channel.
Tried to get a photo of the eclipse today, but it didn't turn out very well. It was through the trees.
I see a little... Oh, there it goes. It got in. Cool.
Whoever's hosting the call has to pull Studio B in.
Yeah, and I don't have access to it, so it's not going to work. So yeah, let's just make do with what we got. There's technical things that happen, especially when we use automation servers. That's why we can keep the bills down to under $2,000. We have to hire a team of engineers, even though we do have a few, but they're all volunteers. So. Yeah.
Right. Well, this is really weird because this is an anomaly with Skype. Does this ever happen to somebody where? Doesn't matter who you call.
Yes, it's been happening to people. It happened to Laura Lee last week.
Mm-hmm.
You're on Linux, though, right, Jacker? You're using a Linux operating system on your computer?
No, not on this. I'm on my desktop PC.
Well, I could fix that
Microsoft.
for you. You just need to uninstall your sound card and have it redetect. Uninstall it through Device Manager, and then reboot and have it redetect and reinstall. It's a virus that gets into your device driver of your sound card. I've dealt with that before. If you need help, just let me know. I've offered it before to all the hosts here.
That's great.
Yeah, maybe I'll... Go ahead.
No, I was saying that's great.
Yeah, I'll call you later. I mean, I don't know how good a radio this is.
All right, so what's on your mind? What's the breaking news that you had on your index cards tonight?
Well, there's all kinds of stuff. It's now... all right, hang on. Something's just happened. Here, let me hang up and see what happened.
Usually it'll hang up. Jacker. Oh, man. Let's see what else I got on my list here.
I kind of wanted to...
Go for it, Steve.
I actually had a question for you that I figured, what the hell? I'll just ask it on the air. I'm contemplating strongly about, I need to switch my. I don't really need to, but it would be a help to me to switch my schedule about. And Monday's the only other day other than Wednesday that makes sense for my schedule, unless I just want to overkill myself with Tuesdays again. So I was wondering if I ultimately really wanted to do it, because I'm really thinking about doing it. Rectify, would you want to move the Grays to Wednesday midnight?
Probably one of the better halves of myself. Have to be with Wingman also. If Wingman didn't have a problem, I'm going to throw in a token, though, that requests on your side for the deal. You get Weisenberg to get us a banner going.
I'll try. Truth is that, I'll have to forward that to Nighthawk, because the truth is that Weisenberg is not even on my Skype list for I don't know what reason. For some reason, it's just we're not friends on Skype. I don't know why.
So this would be earlier even, though, for Wingman, which would be bad, because he's already waking up at 7 a.m. just to be at the schedule we're at, bro.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, it would be tough, man.
No worries, then.
Maybe Noreen. Hey.
I already asked her.
Yeah, I have a meeting every Wednesday right now.
I'm sorry, Steve. Wingman's actually volunteering also. You want to tell us about that, brother? Good heart.
Well, I just found, I do have means of making money and that, but most of it involves not having to leave the house. So, I need to get out in the great outdoors a little bit more. So I've volunteered on 2 nature reserves twice a week, and just kind of helping out with the environment and probably fixing fences and cutting trees, maybe if that's involved, and who knows what I've got to do. I don't know what to expect. So my first day's today. And I start that in a couple of hours' time.
Awesome.
But yeah, good way of meeting people and being out and about and healthy, I guess. So yeah.
Wow.
What's that?
All right, awkward silence.
No, I was just thinking.
It's all good.
I do the tumbleweed sound.
There you go.
Already.
All right. So.
How about this stick then?
Is that all?
Another caller coming in. 775. What's your name? Where are you calling from? What's on your mind?
My name's Gary, Reno, Nevada.
What's going on, Reno, Nevada?
I just wanted to see if I could help you any with your troubleshooting with Studio B. I can hear you guys over Studio B.
So someone already is forwarding it then. That's good. Okay.
It may be Studio B may have an auto compensation. If it's dead air, it'll automatically simulcast with Studio A. That's what I'm imagining is happening.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I did hear Justin come on and make a statement that he couldn't get Jacker on, and he was hoping maybe tomorrow would be better. But then shortly after that, then I could hear you guys on Studio A.
All right. right. Anything else on your mind that you want to bring up? It is a roundtable. You can throw anything at us.
No, I just wanted to see if I could do any good at troubleshooting what's going on with your servers there.
It's not the server. I think it's Jack, your side. It's a local issue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it might be a virus. Got into his device driver for his sound card.
He always has Skype trouble, I notice, often.
Well, you know, he's a targeted individual, as many of us here are. So they don't like us talking the truth.
I'm sure that's true.
Bill Gates is not your friend. All right, Reno, anything else?
No, that's it. Thank you very much.
All right, man. Have a good night. Thanks for calling.
You too. Bye.
He didn't have anything.
Haven't heard from you yet. What's going on down there? You watching that eclipse? You lucky bastard.
Well, I saw it through the trees. But can I get a sound check? Because I just don't know if it's working or not.
Sound fine.
Oh, good. Yeah. No, I was just having the usual drop in and out after I connect and... But it's getting more manageable, I'll just say that.
You sound great. I mean,
Did you have to poke a hole in a card and look at it on the ground, or did you look directly at it through welding goggles or something?
Hello, Ozzy?
His bandwidth is always cutting. Oh, man. I'd love to hear from anybody down in Ozland how that eclipse looked. 347-688-2902. 347-688-2902. Call in and tell me what a knife really looks like.
A knife?
Did you guys know that when Jesus when he's supposed to have died and the sky got black, it's because there was an eclipse right then?
I imagine. Jesus, we celebrate his birthday right on the solstice?
No, but it was just like some crazy phenomenon, but I think it was all lined up, like perfect timing.
Mm-hmm. When I think of the universe, I see a bunch of gears and wheels and everything lined up like a clock, like clockwork. And I think one day our atmosphere will go from blue to clear, and we're going to see all these huge gears and wheels moving, and we're going to see how small we are.
Maybe Jesus was a time traveler and had like a calendar of all the eclipses, and he was like, okay, one's coming up.
Right, maybe.
He's the sun.
With a U or an O. That's the big question. And if it's with a U, okay, that makes sense. Horus, right? Sun god. But if it's an O, then the son of what? Because we're all of God. We are all.
Well, maybe God is the sun.
Well, there you go. Of you, right. The riddles of life.
Every now and again I'll look up at the sun and I'll go, wow, that's a star. Oh, look how close we are to it. Well, yeah, we're not that close to it, but you know what I mean. And it always gets me if you see these pictures with the sun next to the Earth, size comparison, and it's just like a little dot next to the sun. That thing is gigantic, you know, no doubt about it.
I still trip out on the fact that the sun gives us vitamin D through what is almost like photosynthesis happening in a plant, you know. That's crazy, because that deficiency of vitamin D can really screw with people's minds. They call it what, the winter syndrome or something like that? When
seasonal defective.
Yeah, so vitamin D3, that's a good supplement if you don't get outdoors much.
We're all God's little plants.
Speaking of plants, I made some cool new meal to add to my list. It's really easy. And this is just the tip of the day number 2. It's called, I call it ham chowder instead of clam chowder. Right? You got some leftover Easter ham in your fridge, right? You cube it up. Get about 3/4 cup of cubed up ham, throw it in a pot. You do about a 1/2 cup of onion, you know, dice it up, throw it in the same pot. You do about 3.5 cups of potato, cube it up, throw it in the same pot, and about 1/3 cup of celery, cube it up, throw it in the same pot. Top it off with some chicken broth, maybe a little water, bring it to a boil, simmer it for about 10 minutes. While it simmers in another pot, you create a roux. What that is it's half butter, or 1 part butter to 1 part flour. You use a half a stick of butter, and you use the same amount of flour. And you whisk it at medium heat until you get a nice golden brown color. Right? Then you add 2 cups of milk to that mixture and a handful of cheddar cheese. Okay? Salt and pepper it. And then you take that mixture, after 10, 12 minutes of the other one going, pour it in. Mix them together. You got ham chowder. It's awesome. Tastes just like clam chowder, but there's pieces of ham instead of clam.
I see. Oh.
It's really creamy, really good. A nice potato chowder, you know what I mean? So, yeah. That recipe I found this week, and it was thanks to Dorriebar out there for inspiring that one. Thank you, Dory.
Wow, that's awesome. You know, that's what I mean. You can make anything if you know how to kind of throw things together. It's interesting.
It's a science, and people appreciate it. People are scared to get in the kitchen and just cook. Like, they'll concentrate on measuring cups and measuring spoons and, you know, the size of their chop, of their vegetables, and all this stuff. For me, it's like creating music. I just freestyle, and I eye everything.
Yeah, that's how I make my green smoothies. I just throw in a bunch of just throw in
Right. How many ingredients do you use in yours?
You know what? For the smoothies, I'll whatever I have, but usually about 4 to 5. But somehow it works out. Everybody likes it, you know, when I do make them. You know.
Do you mix fruit and vegetables?
Yeah, I do. I mix kale with fruits, and I put in a little hemp oil and whatever else I have. It works out good.
Yeah, I was told, like, mixing fruits and vegetables is bad when you juice or make smoothies. I was like, why? It all goes to the same place.
Well, that's the science of food combining, which may have some merit. I read a little bit about, you know, I don't know how, to be honest, there's so much out, I mean, who knows how relevant it is? I'm not saying it isn't, but it's really, who knows.
How long you been doing the smoothies for?
Oh, you know what, Rectify, it's only been, just a few months, because I dug up a old family, well, it's not old, it's like a food processor, and I just started up doing it this way, and with very little trial and error, I did pretty good. But yeah, I people like them because they got the veggie taste, but not too strong. It's got kind of like that sweet fruity taste, and I throw stevia in it too.
Oh yeah, that's good. I use about 12 different ingredients in my juicer.
Ooh,
but
yeah.
I was just curious because, you know, once I started doing it's when my skin started clearing up too.
Good.
So we probably have a correlation there with that.
Maybe. Thanks for reminding me. Wow.
So yeah, everybody out there, juice.
Getting the minerals is the important thing, isn't it? Getting that balance. You've got to have all the
concentration of them, because there's not many out there anymore. Yeah. Our soil's stripped and polluted.
Well, I've just been speaking to Doreen, and she's pretty certain it's the gallbladder from my symptoms. So, you know, I've been trying. Someone's mentioned flaxseed as well. It's good for cleaning out your intestines. But you know, I don't know if it's just me, but I seem to hear more and more instances of people becoming either, you know, kind of have hay fever all of a sudden where they didn't have hay fever, or diabetic, and it's like all these intolerances.
Oh my gosh, it's true. It's got to be what I was saying earlier. You guys, Wingman, it's so true. It must be the toxins that are just out there causing so much problems. I am actually angry about this whole thing. I mean, anyway.
I did a gallbladder flush one time. I used, this is gross, like a cup of olive oil and a lemon.
What's gross about it? I think it's awesome.
Well, I drank the oil.
Do you plug your nose when you do it?
No, I just kind of didn't smell when I was doing it.
I'm actually weird because I actually like the taste of most oil. I don't mind them, but everyone's different.
Maybe
that will flush out your gallbladder right there.
What did you use? Olive oil and
a lemon.
Okay.
What do you guys think about oil pulling?
I love oil pulling.
I love it.
You guys use coconut oil?
I do.
Use that. She does too.
And you just swish it around for like 15 minutes in your mouth, right?
Yeah.
There's so many things you could do with that stuff.
When you said pulling, I thought you were almost going to say urine pulling.
No, it's supposedly really good for your gums and your teeth, and it prevents cavities.
Urine pulling? Yeah, I heard it was. I've never.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oil pulling.
Oh no, I know, but you've heard about. Yeah, anyway.
I heard people drinking their own urine. Yeah, that's craziness. But
well,
yeah, your urine
actually
is sterile.
Well, in India they've been doing it a long time, but I think that you have to live in a non-GMO environment. But anyway.
Right. You probably got a lot of bacteria coming out of our urine here in the States. You know what? It's been said about our urine here in the States because of all the, over-the-counter vitamins that people think are really helping them, that the rest of the world says that we have the most expensive urine in the world. Because if your body doesn't need a vitamin or a mineral, it's not going to absorb it, and it goes right to your urine. So people are pissing money out. Literally. And if you have the right combination of minerals or vitamins, they're not going to absorb either, because there's binary coupling that takes place for absorption. So you just randomly take this and then that. It's kind of like plants. You have companion plants when you have a garden. You can't have certain plants planted next to certain plants. They'll hate each other and they'll both not grow. But there's some that love each other and they'll each other grow. So.
Right.
Well, with people, isn't it? In conversations, some people just clash and some people get along and gel.
Yeah. But we're all one if you get down to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, cayenne is good, Wingman. I try to put cayenne in almost everything I do, even if it's just like one little, dust of it, because it's strong.
I heard about organic honey and cinnamon the other day, mixed it onto toast or in a drink or something, and but apparently the reason for the organic honey is because most of the stuff in the shops, there's a sort of study done, it's like 3/4 of the stuff in the shops it's been processed, doesn't have any pollen at all in it.
Heather bought me some organic honey when she visited. I still have it. Thank you, Heather. She must not be around. Okay.
Oh, no, I'm here. You're welcome. I also, the year before, the first time I came out there, I bought a whole jar of Manuka honey for my friend because her son had, face planted on the street with a skateboard. So he had, his scabs on his face.
So you put the honey on the wound?
Yeah.
What else is honey good for? Other than flavoring.
It's good for your skin on the outside. It makes an incredible anti-aging mask. It is good for, I just put it under my tongue every day, but this is like the Manuka honey from the Manuka doctor, I think. That's what me and Noreen get. I don't know what else it's good for. I mean, what I use it for or what it's good for.
I know it's got a lot of healing attributes.
It's like antifungal, antibacterial, antimicrobial. It's anti-everything.
Always go with lemon.
Yeah, and it's the thing about allergies is if you have allergies, you get honey that's been produced in your area in your region with the same kind of trees that you're allergic to and stuff, and that's supposed to kick ass on your allergies.
Right.
Turmeric is something I keep hearing quite a lot about.
Turmeric?
Yeah.
I use that, Yeah.
What do you use it for, Noreen?
You know what, you guys? Heather, I suggest for you guys maybe, I don't know, to try it to, I buy the organic kind and I just kind of sprinkle it on everything because they say it's a great antioxidant. That's what they say. So I use it on like a lot of food. You guys, it's so easy. Just throw it on anything, like a baked potato, rice, whatever.
There was an article the other day that said that it actually switches off the effect of fluoride in the brain. Oh. So that's an interesting.
So it might be beneficial for the pineal glands.
For sure, yeah. It's it trumps fluoride in the brain somehow.
Oh,
so, yeah.
There you go, you guys.
That's why maybe certain cultures are less prone to the effects of the dumbing down because they've got a certain diet.
Well, in India, they use a lot of turmeric, I think I heard this in, I forgot what Eastern European, there were some places that do use it a lot. Mm-hmm.
It's good in rice. You know, you ever seen when it yellows the rice, just like saffron? It just does the same as saffron almost in terms of colour.
Mm-hmm.
And it tastes fine, yeah.
But good with eggplant?
Yeah, I think.
And here's a tip for everybody out here. Wow, it's the third tip of the day. I never do this. It's usually just one. But if you want to save tons of money, when you go to the store, big name markets, don't go to the spice aisle to get your spices. Go to the international aisle. It's so much cheaper and you get so much better quality.
Good point.
Really?
Yeah, that's a secret. Shh, don't tell anybody.
You just that's cool. Well, you know what, Rectify, you say, I know we're talking about local stuff here. You like Sprouts? Sprouts is a spice section. A lot of organics they sell. You could check that out. And it's not that expensive. Yeah,
Sprouts is really reasonable, and they got really good, quality products. Mm-hmm. They used to be known as...
you like Sprouts? How do you make them taste good, Rectify?
What's that?
Sprouts.
Sprouts?
How do you make your sprouts?
Taste good? Put some Italian dressing on them.
Italian, okay.
Yeah, some
French.
oil and vinegar, a little lemon maybe, a squirt of lemon.
What's that? Find an Italian dressing, did you say? I don't think Dorie's about, she's Italian.
A little garlic powder, a little oregano. It's hard to make this stuff, guys. It's like pennies to the dollar, too, when you really look. While you still have the internet, you should really all learn to chef it up. It'll save you a lot of money during this economic collapse.
Yeah.
How easy to make vinegar? Is it something you do? Or?
I have never done vinegar, but I do make wine, and I've had a batch of wine turned to vinegar before, so.
Ooh, yum. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know the first thing about it, but I've got an experimental drum of some apples in a barrel that have been sitting there probably too long now, but I don't know. How long can you leave? I suppose vinegar lasts forever, doesn't it?
Oh, you can still probably make it into wine even. It's not that hard, and it's a great commodity to have to barter with if, TH, if it hits the fan,
People want to get smashed. Well, no, just kidding. Do
you think a few bucks in it would affect it, or might give it a bit of flavor?
No, you'd be fine. It's probably already halfway fermented. You probably wouldn't even have to add yeast because it's probably got its own yeast form.
Oh, that's
yeah.
true.
Well, what's the time frame? Like months or weeks?
Just 30 days. 30 days is what I ferment for. And I even use a condom with a hole in it for my airlock. Just make sure your bottles that you use, everything you use, all your utensils are, bleach and water. Make sure they're sterile. That's the most important thing to get a nice wine.
There for that thing, man. No, that's interesting.
You can go to YouTube right now and say how to make wine, and you can learn. It won't take long.
To keep it inflated, or?
Oh yeah, no, it blows up, and the hole, it's just there to let out the carbon dioxide slowly. You don't want anything coming in, is the thing. You don't want any bacteria getting in, so you have an airlock with the tiny hole, so there's constantly outward pressure, so nothing can get in. If you really want to go jailhouse, you just put the lid on and untwist it like half a turn, so it's on there loosely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, you could just put a tea towel over it,
Yeah, there's lots of ways to do it. To each their own, And if you really want to get crazy, it's unlawful here, but you can build yourself a still and then take your wine and turn it into hard alcohol, even. We're going to break, guys. Stick around. We'll be right back in about 4 minutes and 20 seconds.
And this is where I'll leave you guys also, so take it easy.
Welcome to the TheGrayZone Roundtable, Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. 100% listener-supported radio. No corporate ties, corporate duct tape dictating our freedom of speech. It shall remain that way as long as we are supported by you. Join us, 347-688-2902. Enter the Gray Zone.
Welcome back. This is Rectify. This is the TheGrayZone Roundtable here at Revolution Radio. You can find us at freedomslips.com. We are 100% listener supported. Your donations keep our blood flowing here, pays the bills. None of us get paid. Strictly pays for infrastructure to keep the truth flowing. So yeah, visit us, freedomslips.com or revolution-radio.com. It's easier to remember. And, yeah, throw us a couple bones. It's much appreciated. Keep us going for another month. We're month to month, even though most of us are paycheck to paycheck. We understand that. But, yeah, welcome back. This is an open roundtable. Everybody's free to bring in any thought, any topic, anything on their mind. The number here is 347-688-2902. 347-688-2902. You can Skype us at Freedom Screen. Wingman. My wingman had to leave. He is doing some charity work with some natural life in his UK stomping ground, so that's cool. We understand that. But I have two lovely ladies with me. I have Dorrie and I have Noreen Helphands, so I'm not alone. We're going to keep this show on the road.
You're never alone. We're always here. Late or not, we're here, damn it.
Somehow it works out, huh?
Right? Always.
Yeah, and
well, you know, I just sent out a contact.
let me
I just
grab
had a
that.
little.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll come on though, but he said he would love to have your contact. It's the guy that I had on my roundtable earlier, James Wright. He's the one that wrote the book on it's called Freemasonry. There he is, Cole J.
Yeah, drag him in. Let's see if he'll
let's
join
see.
us.
Well, he said he may be kind of chilling right now. Oh my gosh! Hey,
James.
Here we go.
Another roundtable.
Hey, awesome.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah.
So popular, you know.
Yes. Yeah, you are.
We had to drag you in here.
The popular Templar.
Exactly. He was just earlier on my roundtable before you Rectify. I don't know if you heard, and he was just like awesome. It was really great. Thank you, James.
I caught the end of it. I was doing a little bit of show prep, which I never get to, like hardly, because you know roundtable and all. But
right.
I heard something.
Thank you.
It was awesome.
But you
yes, everybody loves a good, nasty, filthy, swashbuckling Templar that just smashes the place up a bit, you know.
Yep. Yeah, Dorrie, he's been on a lot of
right, I've heard him before, yes.
He was on my roundtable. He's also been on I first heard you, James, on Coast to Coast, actually. That was the very first time.
Yeah, that was quickly cut off though. They didn't quite like where I was going with that because there's Masonic oriented producers there in the Burbank, California studios.
Oh.
No way.
Somebody get the door.
Carl's joined us. How you doing, Carl?
Hey.
You might be on mute there, buddy. All right. Check out your microphone connection. But yeah, welcome to the call as soon as you get that worked out. So James, what degree did you achieve before you said this is not for me?
I was 32nd. I was Supreme Council payroll on top of that. A couple little, what they call the by invitation only orders that come after that. I mean, half a dozen of those. And that's when I just about had it. I belonged to 2 Blue Lodges at that moment, and it was just the problems as I saw them early on in the game came to such a head the deeper and the higher that I got that it just became unbearable, and it was abusive, and I could no longer tolerate it. It was wrecking my life, and that was to play by their rules and remain loyal in their service and take what they were dishing out, which was heinous to say the least.
And is it very difficult to depart from such groups, or do they not bother you if you want to tell them to F off?
Yeah, it depends on what level you were. I mean, if you join a lodge and you're just an apprentice, then if you forget it, you lose interest, and that's kind of what the whole point of that structure is anyway, to filter out the talent and interest versus the not. And the higher you go, I mean, if you're a 32nd and then you suddenly walk away, they will definitely come find you on foot, even at your job if necessary, to accost you on the matter and ask why your presence and time and charity and everything has not been present. Of course, they're not referring to any kind of like out doing a charity fundraiser drive to help little orphans or something. They're talking about actually down working as free slave labor at the Scottish Rite buildings in all the major cities.
Why aren't you my little bitch anymore, basically?
Exactly, yes. I mean, even they took such full advantage of me that I was averaging 90 hours a week, and they were only allowing me to charge for half of that overtime, because they kept putting it to me that, now remember, brother, you're a Mason still, so you have to do your part for charity just like everybody else, and that's part of the
So they invoke guilt just like any other greedy human would.
Well, and serve your masters, and I mean it's a cult, so of course there's support the machine, and where are you in the cog of that wheel, and I was in a Shark Tank completely.
Now, like the Jehovah's Witnesses, they kind of have the same protocol, but what happens there is if you screw up within the church, they actually kick you out of the church for a given time. Do they do the same thing within the Masonic lodges? You can get, basically suspended from attending for a certain period of time?
You can be suspended or expelled, yes. It has happened in history. Typically, it happens because one powerful Mason gets mad at a less powerful one and wants to alienate the monkey from the tribe. It's real schoolyard tactics with that.
Monkey. Yeah, you might be competing with me.
Exactly. Or might be a threat to my seat or anything of the kind. But yeah, there's tremendous infighting that goes on amongst all of them, even on that Supreme Council. I mean, they're all obviously jockeying for the top job, which is the one currently held by Ronald Seal. So.
Now, as far as the Masonic Lodge and the Mormon Church, the Church of Latter-day Saints, what's the connection there? I know that.
Well, I love that you brought that up, because I'm quite fond of reminding Mormons that their church and religion very much used to hate Masons, and the reason why is because Joseph Smith, their prophet, was originally a Mason, and the Masons' argument is that he ripped off and plagiarized their lodge degrees to form the basis of the Mormon temple rituals, and so they had him jailed on some BS charges, which is one of the ways they used to do this assassination-wise in the 1800s, and then walked in and shot him at point-blank range while incarcerated, and they were very public and open and brazen about it, and it caused quite the outcry and division, of course, between Masons and Mormons. But I've hung around some Mormons around the Hollywood ward there, and I know the drill and kind of what their belief system is, and it is whether they know it or not, it is heavily rooted in Masonry. Absolutely.
That's what I figured.
Can I say, rectify? Can I say it's the same thing? I've hung around Mormons. I'm not Mormon, but I definitely am acquainted with them and their wards, however they call their churches wards. And noticed, especially since you mentioned that on Coast to Coast, I kept that in mind. I think one time I did go to one of their services. They invited me for lunch, and I was watching these things and going, oh my gosh, it's so like Freemason. And so now I kind of call them like the Freemasons of Christianity. Probably.
I mean, there's a lot of different things that you could loosely define as Christian in the history of Freemasonry. I mean, Freemasonry really only came about because Templarism, as brought into into existence by the Priory of Sion by a group of bloodline families back then that dominated, England and France and the likes of Western Europe, also known as the Merovingian race. Craft Masonry was very much so a family affair, and when the Templars were purged by Pope Clement V in 1307, it wasn't just a Templar purging, it was also a genocide of the Merovingian race that went in tandem with that. So that's where you get these mysterious bloodline, connections over history and all that type stuff. But the current Freemasonry would be the current conservators of that Templarism, but I'm involved with a group of people, obviously, with genealogy that is impossible to challenge and speaks incredible volumes that have basically said, enough, you did your job, but time's up, and I know it's a fun toy, but it's time to put the toy down because you misbehaved and been very bad with it and bullied the other children on the playground with it and misused it. So that's where we're at right now. Mm-hmm. It's my life's not normal, this is what I do.
Hey, join the club, right, you guys? His life's not normal.
No,
right.
No, we would never understand that. Never.
There's two different types of Freemasonry. I know there's the Scottish rite and there's the other side. It's just slipping my mind right now, but what is
well, there's a war between the York and the Scottish Rite itself.
York, that's it.
There's that, but then on the level higher, which is actually the one that I'm speaking of that's coming to more of a head now, the late Prince Nicholas de Vere was an instrumental figure in the movement to take it back and hand it back, into the knowledgeable arms of the families who invented it. Now, that's not to say that it should be some elitist thing or whatever, because that can take on a pretty broad context and include quite a lot of people roaming the earth today. So it's actually a big deal that we're talking about. And going back to what you were saying about suspended and expelled Masons, interestingly, they tried to bring me up in the Grand Lodge of Texas, where I went through my Blue Lodge degrees, on Masonic charges for revealing secrets and being naughty and misbehaving and this, that, the other, the whole 9 yards. And I dodged it for a while, but they kept postponing it because of not knowing really how to handle it. And then I finally responded. And when I responded with copies of my St. Clair genealogy and told them, F off and how dare you try me? What my great-grandfather wrote.
It's kind of like the Bundy Ranch thing. Like, look at my history. Back off.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you. It's yeah. I mean, what could you say? It would be like walking into the Vatican and in front of a crowd of devout Catholics just walking up and slapping the Pope across the face. I mean, it's such, Masonically speaking, their mistreatment of some individuals has been akin to blasphemy according to the ancient traditions and the rich heritage of the order. So, it's just time for a good revealing.
You ever bear witness to a jaw-dropping ritual of any kind?
Oh, well, yeah. The higher you go, you're never going to see them. Well, I mean, that depends on what you define as jaw-dropping. I suppose that a great deal of people would define the Entered Apprentice Mason ritual as jaw-dropping, let alone the Master Mason ritual where you are symbolically killed and buried and resurrected and all of that. And it goes all the way up to like when you're being admitted to the Illuminati, which is the Order of the Silver Star, and you're doing your Adeptus Minor, then you're actually put up as Christ on a cross. And, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that would be objectionable, and then, you know, over yonder at the OTO, they involve a lot of, Tantra and sexual magic in the higher degrees there, so
that movie Eyes Wide Shut with Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise, there's a lot of truth to that.
I think that's rather tame by comparison to reality.
Oh,
they changed that movie, you know, and then he died. All of a sudden, mysteriously got killed.
Exactly, and incomplete and scenes were deleted. One in particular was the ritual sacrifice of the woman at the party that saved Tom Cruise's character from sacrifice himself. But no, in reality, it would be. I think it was, you know, it was Hollywoodized, so it was portrayed very straight and whatever the word, when in reality I think it would probably take on a much more gay, or at least let me take that back, bisexual, trisexual, meaning try anything, you know, type of flavor.
Choo-choo train type of deal.
Yeah,
it's just the energy. That's all they're looking for.
Yes.
Basically.
Yes,
well,
exactly.
root chakra is in a man, you know, higher than it is in a woman. That's why they do, you know, little kids and stuff, boys.
Well,
especially.
one of the most important rituals on that level is the Starfire ritual, which has to do with the seminal and menstrual fluids. So, I mean, you're dealing with some serious stuff there, and of course, some of them get into it so much that that's actually where their breeding practices take place.
The moon cycle has a lot to do with all that too.
Well,
yes, like the moon child that Crowley wrote about. Yes, exactly.
Yep. If you look at that movie, the one we were just talking about, though, and do it in slow motion, at the end of the movie, because you know they took it over from, you know, the guy who died, the producer who died, you see Aleister Crowley coming in on all the pictures. Subliminally, you could see his face coming in because they did it in slow motion just to check it out. Because I'm like, oh, there's got to be something subliminal. Sure enough, and then I got a little scared, started seeing stuff I really didn't want to see, so I just shut it off.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was pretty wild to see that.
It's kind of like Dark Side of the Moon, the Pink Floyd album. It lines up with the Wizard of Oz perfectly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I just mentioned that on the previous roundtable. I mean, how can you explain that? Either someone is such a genius that they pulled that off, or there is some sort of supernatural effect.
Yeah, I call him Satan.
Well, no, everything's a clue. Whether it's the Bible or whether it's Masonic or whatever, it's all clues. Templars, the same thing. Everything's a clue.
To it. Yeah.
It's fascinating, but you have to look at it in a fascinating way. You can't, not everybody's bad. I just think you come here in a bloodline, because James, you're probably one of the bloodlines. And
family, and then some. If
our family was Skull and Bones, which we just found out about 2 years ago. And I went, whoa, not us. And my mother's, come on, we're from Connecticut. And my great cousin was a nun. And then they were looking through some of her old stuff in the attic. And she had everything. She had everything. The only way she can get it with her name engraved and all that stuff. But she was a woman. And that's what freaked me out. But a nun, that's what freaked me out on top of it. You know what I mean? So she was high up in something. We just didn't know what something was.
Well, yeah, that's one of the myths that front door porch Freemasonry perpetuates, is that women are not a part of any of this type stuff. But there's plenty of female members and adepts to be had at the higher levels.
Yes,
well, you would have to. You'd have to have both.
Yes.
Oh, they make the best spies and manipulators.
Yeah, but you'd have to have the both sexes is what I'm talking about. Because they use that, they use that energy. You can't just have a male energy. You have to have a female energy involved somewhere, somehow. Whether it's a kid that you're working on or whatever, I think literally as a female energy, I think you need to have that. All of them do. Yeah.
Yes. Well, it's just like how the bloodline stuff, the higher doses come down through the female mitochondrial DNA. So, yeah, that is a crucial component, and they know it, and that's why they are very carefully selected. The best example that I use of that is Diana Spencer. She made.
Yep, she was part of that.
Yeah, because as a consequence of her and that union, William and Harry are now the most royal people to walk the halls of Buckingham Palace in many, many, many years.
In other words, their DNA, I mean, not to bring up a reptilian.
Pure, well, right,
yes,
but it's purer than the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What about the rumor that the Shroud of Turin, Jesus' blood was used as DNA to create those royal kids?
No, I don't believe that.
No, I don't think that they could extract that successfully from that, if that is what that truly is.
We had Jurassic Park.
Yeah, but you'd have to find. They still haven't even found a pure enough specimen of dinosaur DNA. But so you'd have to have a really, really lucky find with that. And but I mean, I think it's kind of irrespective of all that. It is alive and well today. People like me are an example of that. I mean, when I looked into my genealogy, I expected to find a quarter to maybe 30-40% of it, but it was chock full of it. It's 100%.
Yeah, that's what I think
some
too.
sort of H
RH
positive
negative?
or
RH negative?
We all have negative.
Negative or RH
we all have negative blood. Isn't that weird?
I'm RH
I don't know if
positive.
I am. I'm not sure.
I'm an egg, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that Obama was even born in a test tube from Egyptian DNA.
He looks just like that Egyptian guy, the priest.
Yeah, I've seen that
He looks
thing.
just like him, identical. And so
He
does
does.
Hillary too, looks just like the other one. Yeah, I think we're all coming back. I really do. I believe we're all coming back. There's too many ifs on this planet not to think that something's going to come out and we get to see it. Going, we're not going to be a slave anymore.
Well, this is why it's important to note this, I think, personally. Because I have this belief that with the elbows I've bumped and the things I've been a part of and this access I was born into and everything else and have nothing but contempt for consequently, there is an effect going on. You can call it supernatural in nature. There's something to it. I'm fond of the word synchronicity, but there is a component that they cannot explain, and thusly is why they spend such an effort and time and everything to track it.
Like building CERN, the Large Hadron Collider?
No,
trying to find the God particle?
I think it's a bloodline. I think if you look back, even the control is you're all mesmerized, and you're still doing worships and things like that. We make fun, but they've been doing that since the beginning of time.
Well, yeah, and not only that, but these bloodlines intermarrying. When you go back and you examine the genealogies, there's not. Of course, some marriages were arranged and everything back when that was a custom and blah blah. But there's too many cases, more so than arranged marriages, where two persons came together, sometimes from vast distances. And it's like this law of attraction.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that they have to come back and finish something on this planet.
Same.
Right. Well, I have a blood disorder, and they didn't figure it out. I'm in my 40s now, and I've been suffering since I was young. No one knew. No one knew. And my mother's Irish, my father's Italian. And it went back to the bloodline. And I had an actual, blood doctor actually tell me, was your father Italian? I said, yes. And he went back into my bloodline. And I'm like, oh, my God, I'm one of them.
Dorrie, did you ever have that DNA ancestry thing done where you swab your cheek and you send your DNA?
No, they did everything to me. But
okay.
I was like one of those prodigy kids because once they found out I had it, I could actually say this on the air because I'm old now. I was in my 20s, and I had this lady come up to me, and she says, you're not going to believe me, and I'm just here to tell you, don't throw any of your blood away. And you know what I mean, if you're a woman. You'll understand this concept. And I go, what are you talking about? I'm in my 20s. I was crazy. I was young. And she said, nothing to do with your blood. Make sure you value it and take care of it. I'm like, that's funny because I hemorrhage out of every orifice I have. So it's kind of hard to. She goes, flush it. Whatever you do, if you bleed in your nose or whatever else, because they'll find you. And I'm like, who's going to find me? What's wrong with me? Now that I'm older, I don't have to worry about that anymore. But in my young, and I would come up to, the strangest people would come up to me when I was young, and now it makes sense, because I found out my disease in my 30s. And they have a name for it. It was von Willebrand disease, and I went, well, if we all have that, or certain ones, and it's rare, it's from a certain blood type. So what I'm saying about my blood type is like the template blood type with you. You have that bloodline. I have my own certain bloodline. I think we all have something going on here, that we're all connected in a certain way.
Well, yes, and this is a soap opera, if you will, that's been playing out now for the better part of 2,000 years.
Right.
And a lot of, I believe in reincarnation, and I think that I'm also keen on the genetic memory theories. And I mean, the best work on this type subject matter, by far and large, in my opinion, is The Dragon Legacy by Nicholas DeVere, who died last year. So it's a compelling work, much like Lawrence Gardner, Genesis of the Grail Kings, and all of that. It's really good stuff for people who want to know more about that to look into. They're fascinating reads, and if you have any of it in you, here's the funny thing about it is you'll just be compelled to keep reading,
studying it. I did the same thing you did, the same. And why would I?
You won't be able to stop.
I did. I studied everything I could. You name it, I studied it. And then I started looking back on all the weird people that came into my life. The weirdest of weird things would happen, whether the people came in, they just disappeared. Just to give me a message kind of thing. I've been intuitive since I was a little kid anyway, and thought that everybody was normal and everybody did the same thing I did, which was obviously not the truth. And I would tell my mom stuff when I was little. Everything just starts adding up. Now that I'm in my 40s, I start looking back on, oh my God. And then I had another teacher say to me, this was someone who taught me martial arts, things like that. And I started getting into defense a lot. I really went crazy with defending myself for some reason. And I forgot where I was going to go with that, but I had a teacher say to me, you have to watch out because there's a light about you. They'll find you. And there's a light about all of you. And they go looking for that light. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? What light? And he goes, you'll know. The more you study, you'll figure it out when you get older. Sure enough, I did. I remember the bell went off, all the lights lit up, and I said, oh my God, now I know what they're talking about. That there's like something over us, that they could see us, whether it's energetically. Would you believe that?
Yes, I was extremely close with my grandmother, and in my opinion, she was the one back then in that generation in my particular family who, it was the heaviest dose in and switched on in, so to speak, and she was obsessed with her and my private security. I mean, she specifically bought a house after I was born where I lived with her that, had high walls and electric gates, and as a small child I was told, don't you dare punch that button that opens the front gate for anybody on the speaker, and
My grandparents took me when I was little, for my mom, 2 years old. My grandfather just took me.
Well, my mother was an out-of-control party girl from SMU
mine too.
That was coke addicted.
My mom wasn't that. No, she was just beautiful and just wanted to party with Frank Sinatra. But other than that, my grandma was like, nope, she's coming with us. Yeah, they made sure I had a really safe upbringing, literally safe, in Connecticut.
Yeah, I think it skips generations, honestly. That's why I have no interest in having children, because I'm pretty sure I would produce a monster.
I never had any either. I wanted them, but no, it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. So weird. We all have something in common, different backgrounds, but basically it's the same story.
Yeah, that's how this stuff works, and I'm at this point at 31, I don't believe that there are coincidences.
Oh no.
Yeah, the good thing is you guys are all repenting, so that's awesome.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yes, I used to be duplicitous with the Scottish Rite agenda, and I was a good little robot and all of that, and the more damage I can do and bring them down now, I think the more of repentance that I am, so.
Hey man, the big man sees it. He's got the list. It ain't Santa Claus. It ain't Satan Claus with the list.
Need your allies, that's for sure.
Oh, Carl, you're back.
Roger that, Captain.
You been listening? You want to throw in some thoughts?
When I catch one back.
All right. Get your net out.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Freemasonry.
Yeah,
what's the correlation between Freemasonry and Zionism? Is there any?
You just read my mind and let him finish. I was going to add something. Go ahead.
That's a slight play on words. It gets confused with Zion, with a Z-ism out of Israel, and Sionism, as in Priory of Sion, as in Templars. So, two completely different things. So,
gotcha.
If you're a Templar, you're not speaking on behalf of, like, protocols of the elders of Zion down there in Israel with all of that hot mess going on and all of that. Then the Templars own the Temple Mount twice, so they're definitely former tenants of the building as far as Israel's concerned. But
go ahead. Oh.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. I mean, we can go a million places with this. One thing I would like to get out to, anybody listening is please, take a moment to visit my website, my new website, dialm4mason.weebly.com.
Say that again?
I'll put that in the chat, or you go ahead,
Yeah, it's, dialmformason.weebly.com. And that's the site for my show off of People's Internet Radio, and it's all new, and I've done 4 shows now, and they've gone really great. And what I'm doing right now is I'm vetting them with some leaked audio from a private lodge function where a guy was being targeted and ritually abused, basically, and gang stalked and the like, and then you hear also them go into their true private beliefs about communicating with the public, or the profane as they call them, and just it goes on and on and on, and there's 6 hours of this garbage. And
so let me get this straight. Okay, the hardcore Jewish people call the non-Jews goyim. Then we got the hardcore Arabs call the non-Arabs infidels, and the Freemasons call us what now?
The profane.
The profane. Okay, that's a new one for my book. Go ahead.
Hey, can I make a comment? This is very synchronistic that we have James on, and you guys are all talking about the same, Dorrie and Rectify, and even James is revealing you guys' youth, or James more like everything about him. But, yeah, I didn't know. I was telling them tonight on my roundtable about, I have a Jewish half. I think it's almost half, 50%, maybe a little bit thrown in with something else, I don't know, but one half of my ancestry. And there's a Bolshevik, my great uncle. So, and he was involved with rescuing Lenin and mentoring Trotsky. Weird. Anyway, so I asked him, is that like a, Freemason bloodline? And he was saying it could be Romanov. I didn't even know till tonight, I had no clue why. So yeah, so I think a lot of this is synchronistic about how we're learning about our backgrounds,
Yeah, it's almost like Highlander and how they talked about, the quickening and everything. It's very strange, actually, when you consider the scope and the global...
It's the apocalypse. It's the unveiling.
That's very true, and what's going on in the Truth or Patriot movement right now, and there's also a lot of revealing going on in that. There's been a lot of people who have been outed as being plants and paid FBI informants, and
a lot of setups going on.
Oh yeah, and there's always a ton of Masonic apologists out there, and that's what Hollywood wanted to make me another one of, and I told them, exactly where they could stick it and how deep, and so yeah,
without lube, by the way.
Yeah, definitely without, and it's been extremely difficult on me. I mean, it's cost me everything.
You still have your integrity, man.
Well, I do have that, and I would rather be on the right side of the history, absolutely. Right. But yeah, my lifestyle has drastically changed. So
I think all of ours did. Well, mine did, and I know where you come from, James. I've heard your story. Yeah. It's like, do you care? I don't care anymore.
No, yeah, the initial shock of it. I mean, to grow up in an environment where money is absolutely no object.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and now. Rubbing nickels together. Yeah, it's
yeah, we do it.
Said when this collapse happened, I used to say to my wife all the time, like, we're gonna be all right. Like, be thankful we have a roof over our head. It's the people that have a lot right now. They're gonna lose everything. They're gonna have trouble. We're gonna have to be there to help them.
I don't believe that's gonna happen. I mean, not in the aspect that we thought it would. I just think the ones that are not fully aware now don't have to be. You know what I mean? Like, you can't put something down their throat like they're not supposed to be awakened or something. It's us. Yeah, we had to go through the trial and error and the doom and the gloom and everything we had to do, whether it's health-related, money-related, everything. We've all done it. Everybody on this call probably has done it.
Mm-hmm.
But the other ones are not awake.
Had, like, the heavier of a burden it was.
Just remember, anything that collapses, that means someone loses control.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to look at it as that's propaganda out on you because you're the little guy. Right?
Well, it just gets so frustrating. I mean, like, with the level of the audio that's leaked that I have been playing the past 2 weeks now about the Masons, by any accounts, if we were talking about anything else under the sun, if it was Scientology or the Mormons or the Jehovah's Witnesses or the KKK or the this or the that or the other or the Catholic Church or the
Southern Poverty Law Center.
Yeah, yes, exactly. The Chopper 5 would be over my house and CNN would be pounding on my door and, looking in my windows, and yet there's nothing. It's tumbleweeds rolling through the yard because why? They've all been told, do not cover this. Do not.
Mithras, the bigger one. Do you know much about that?
Repeat that question, Carl.
Oh, the cult of Mithras, the sun worshippers.
That's what Freemasonry ultimately is. It's Solomonic magic based around phallic sun worship.
And so is Catholicism.
Yeah, the two go hand in hand. That's another myth.
They worship this. I was born.
If you think those bishops and cardinals up there in Vatican City are not Freemasons,
and story.
supposedly Freemasonry is outlawed and all that. That's just propaganda. That's nonsense.
Well, the Jewish community worships Saturn, and we worship the sun. Gotta worship somebody, right?
Well, if secret societies are naughty, why does the Catholic Church promulgate Opus Dei, and why does the Priory of Sion, or one of the factions thereof, have offices there in the Vatican as well?
Exactly.
Why do they have the best private museum in the world that the public can't go and look at?
Right.
So much, yeah.
There could be, a virtual treasure trove like a library of Alexandria down there, and we're just, we're the profane.
Right.
Look at what Douglas Dietrich did, not to get off the subject, but look at all the books he burned. From 1600s.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Imagine the information. He said there was books in blood made out of, skin. The covers were out of skin. Information. I mean, do you want that stuff hidden? So that means we're ahead that means that's part of us. That's who we are.
Sheila Robot, the Matrix has it now. We have Wikipedia, where any doofus out there can go in there and edit it. So
it's not
our
the doom and
history is
gloom.
constantly being tweaked.
I don't believe it's the doom and gloom. I believe we're waking up to this. I believe now it's like, maybe we were in a lockdown here for thousands of years, and maybe, the ball's changing. I hope it does. If I'm here for a reason, it better be a really good reason, because I'm a little tired of this.
Well, you've really got to ask yourselves, at what point are certain personalities selling out? And I mean, I don't want to sit here and get into another hashing out of names and stuff like I did on a previous roundtable. I just don't have the energy for it tonight. But
we wouldn't do anything. Even if we collected all the people that contributed to the mess, we still have the systematic mess that we would have to change.
Yeah, this is a chilling roundtable. It's late, so we could just say whatever you want.
Yeah, well, no, it's just the point I'm reaching for is that there's people in the movement that they do a good job of, say, waking people up or putting things into a context that a lot of people can swallow easily, but when it comes down to the core of the issues, like what Freemasonry is one of, then you find that these people shut up very quickly, or they just point to this boogeyman apparatus in pop culture called the Illuminati.
Right, come on, I can't tell my family not to go to church anymore, or go, my mother said, they asked me if I went to confession. My aunts are in their 80s. My mother said, absolutely not. What do I have to confess about? She said, my mom just turned 70. She said, what have to confess? What do I do? I'm retired. I don't do anything. She goes, why would I have to confess to a priest anyway? See, my mom's starting to get it. She's starting to say, she's questioning stuff, and she goes, and I can't, not go because then, I'm not part of the family, because I don't. And I was
shunned by the
You're totally shunned. Oh, I was shunned. Yeah, I was shunned, so. Carl wants
but that's the step you got to take if you really want to be free.
Yeah, I can care less, but.
It's not to James. Now, the Book of Revelation, for me, waking up was like realizing that this whole thing is a multi-headed beast that sort of works together, and even though it's even got a tail that it fights against, and what do you say about the Book of Revelation? Do you think there's something to that? Are you much of a scripture person?
I am. I'm not so versed in it that I can quote it and all that, but I know.
Do they follow it as a playbook, or is it something that's happening by the finger of God?
No, I would say that that's regarded as one side of a story that they don't particularly like because they don't win in that version. So, However, you're dealing with people who are obsessed with prophecies and scriptures of all sorts of holy books. So, one is just as good as the next, according to a lot of these type people. I mean, okay, for example, if you've got somebody doing work on the Golden Dawn, then as far as they're concerned, the Holy Books of Thelema by Aleister Crowley is just as valid as the Holy Bible. So,
do you have a good library still, I suppose? You probably can.
A good what?
Library, like a book, books. Or,
I do have the core, the best ones of my collection. I am a bibliophile, and unfortunately, though, my apartment in Hollywood was burglarized, and a lot were taken. So that happened last year, and there was some strange Masonic threats that were centered around that, and that was exactly the type of books that disappeared. But fortunately, I kept the most rarest, most expensive ones in a different location, and they're safe and fine.
We've been joined by another caller. Hyro, how you doing, sir?
Mm-hmm. I know how it feels to lose those books. That I've lost one book that's really important to me, but there was actually two, but the second one was so widely printed it wasn't such a problem. It was a scripture. It was a Bible that I had family ties to it, so it was a shame losing it. But anyway,
is there any languages that I'm sure Latin and Greek is pressed upon in the Masonic lodges, right?
In the higher degrees.
Okay. Hyro, do you have any questions for Sir Mr. James?
Oh, I know Hyro.
Isn't he a great guy?
Aw, thank you. No,
that was for me.
That's for both of you.
All
right. I'm gonna split it right down the middle.
Hi, James. But not yet. You were talking about the Temple of Solomon. But there's also there are, as above, so below. There are many different ways of talking about the Temple of Solomon. I was just watching something earlier by Graham Hancock, and he's obsessed with the physical version of the Temple of Solomon. But the Temple of Solomon is on everything. If you look at all the films, every film talks about the Temple of Solomon. You can see it in every single high-budget film. And but the Temple of Solomon also lies within. The Freemasonry doesn't tell you that, does it?
No, well, it does in the higher degrees. It makes those suggestions, not directly, but I think any scholar would agree that Solomon's temple was never a grandiose, gauche, Cecil B. DeMille type structure. I think it was much more humbler than that, much more like a tabernacle in the wilderness type setup.
Wow.
I can continue to talk, but
that's my thought on that.
Okay, but what do you think, Dorriebar?
I'm on mute. Are you talking to me? I'm on mute.
Just magic with the K or something.
Well, you've just had a Freemason Illuminati train wreck.
That's me crashing the party. When I walk into the party, everybody runs away.
Oh no!
He makes you. This is what God does to us. You know it's good when He calls. You know we're on the right path.
I know there's magic in the book of Revelation, right? But is there other sorts of magic? Is there tools of magic?
Let Carl speak. He's asking Carl.
Rectify. I was going to say about that beast. I've always tried to work out what the 3 parts of the tail were and what the 10 heads and the 10 crowns and. It's not quite 13, but you got to wonder how. And I saw this, the diagrams and the geometry and there's all this sort of stuff. It's sort of interesting, but then again, you think, why do we need to know about it? Does it really add to our? I know for me the knowledge of it is. I want to know the scripture. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, yeah, you're bringing up a fantastic idea, actually, for a subtopic to get off into, and I really want to. And I'm a little, tired and everything, and this would require a little bit of planning beforehand because I'm going to have to go pull my Complete Golden Dawn Book of Magic out of the closet and flip to the correct pages and set up some bookmarks because, there's passages in there that do delve into the dragon stuff of Revelation and all of that. So I have plenty that I could read to you and help interpret and all that. I would love to do that. So
another day would be good. And quickly, now that there's an eclipse happening, there's a moon and the sun, would now be a significant time because you've got the Islamic moon group and the sun side, west and the east. Is there something going to be significant about that, do you think?
I mean, they love their ritual now, don't they? So, who can say? But, like Vinny Eastwood likes to joke about me, is that the Masons are ultimately going to kill me one day at 3:33 p.m.
Oh, no.
in driving an Alfa Romeo 33 on 3333 Wilshire Boulevard on March 3rd.
I feel any better, James. I was born and raised and currently live on 33.33 hours and 33 minutes north latitude.
Well, then there must be a Masonic lodge nearby.
Oh,
yeah, exactly.
A federal building shaped
close.
like a pyramid. A
There you
ziggurat, actually.
Well, think about that's actually important to them. Think about it, Los Angeles, Phoenix, Dallas, Atlanta. No. We're going, the globe is curving. Excuse me.
It goes all around.
Really good numbers. There was this Mormon church and it had the two blocks, 66 and 68. They had the two of them joined together and the building was built across the two. But anyway, that's
Heather pointed something out that blew my mind. Was that a lot of ritualistic murders or mass murders or these psychos or these school shootings, all these types of deals like Waco and Oklahoma City bombing, all on the 33 line of latitude.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's all numerology. Everything's everything is.
And 33 is a master number. Yeah,
right.
So, wow.
Yes, and a lot of important figures die at 33.
Really?
The 11's the big one.
Yes, you're right. That's another master number is 11.
88, 77.
Oh, yeah. And, of course, 13 and 3 and, I mean, they all have their, like when you're dealing with the triangle, if you invert it, then you're talking about 3 times 3, so that's 9. 9 is an important number as well. I mean, there's just so many.
The number 6 too, because 3 and 3 is 6, right?
It's like the Beatles, number 9. You can never get rid of it. Everything will turn back into that.
Yeah, and when you get into that higher Silver Star stuff, like the number 9996. So I mean, it's.
That's why the Germans use that word to trick everybody. 9 has no.
What the Germans did is they took the swastika and turned it upside down. Swastika is a beautiful thing. It's beautiful energy. If you look at Buddha, and if you look at that energy of a swastika, it's you can have all that you want. It is the glory sign, but they turned it opposite.
Right.
They wreaked havoc.
Instead of counter.
They wreaked havoc.
To represent the universe going counterclockwise.
Yeah.
They turned it around.
Incredible.
Yeah. I have a photo, Dory, of something. Let me see if I can. I'm trying to look for it right now. Of a when I was in Japan, I took this photo of a. Oh, where is it? Oh, I hope maybe I don't have it on here. Oh shoot! Don't tell me I don't. Yeah, I don't have it on here.
The Buddha with the swastika on it?
No, it's not the Buddha. It's where is it? I don't have it. Okay, sorry, I don't have it. Anyway, I'll have to post it another day. Where is it? What it is when I was in Kyoto. Oh my gosh. They had a little stone temple. It's not even a temple. It's like a what is that called? A little stone thing. It was for children, babies who died. This is really creepy now that I think of it. Babies who died, and then there is a crooked cross on it. Not the Nazi one, but the one that's the original one that's the other direction. So there's a carving of it on the bottom, and then you see people giving offerings to this. So this is a very ancient symbology, I think, in Japan that I didn't know about. But yeah, it's
forever. That's the first place I've seen it, and that was years and years ago that I studied that. Because I'm like, well, why does he have all this power? There has to be a reason behind power. Here's behind power. There's numerology, and then it goes to symbols. Everything's symbolistic. Anything you look at is a symbol. And then I looked and I go, wow, that swastika doesn't look the same as this beautiful symbol of infinity and all that, you know.
Like the heart symbol. Our hearts really aren't shaped like that. That actually...
well, the peace sign, real peace is upside down.
Genitalia,
the peace sign is not a good thing. That's havoc. If you turn the peace sign upside down, that's what real peace is. So when you see the peace sign in a circle, that's not peace. And how many people always put the peace sign up and stuff, but that's not promoting good intention.
It's the 22nd letter, which is a 6 in Hebrew.
Right, but the V is not, it's not a good intention. If you turn it upside down, that is peace.
Oh.
The your two fingers have to point to ground.
Right.
Yeah,
it's like the old kings for executions, they would put the thumb down to have them be freed, and they'd put the thumb up to have them be executed. It would be the opposite.
Hyro, what is it?
Dorrien, rectify. Could you explain the peace sign? Describe it for the listeners, if there was anyone listening.
If you put your forefinger and your middle finger up, it looks like a V, and you go, peace. You know, whenever he goes around saying peace, usually has a circle around it. Well, that's actually inverted. It's the opposite of peace.
It's war.
It's basically war. It's like the feathers with an Indian. If they're pointing up or they're pointing down, war.
It's like
the opposite of that. Right.
Yes, that was another symbol that was glossed over by all the symbologists with the Diana murder, because she was killed in a Mercedes-Benz, and check the hood ornament.
Right. And then under the tunnel, and where she was, it's so planned. I mean, you have to look at everything as planned. I love when people get so surprised, and you're like, really? You're surprised?
We got about 5 minutes left. I want to let James pull the website again a couple times.
Already? It's over?
Yeah, 5 minutes.
We're out of there. That time flies.
It does.
So go ahead. Hold on.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It is dial M for Mason, kind of like dial M for murder, because the two go hand in hand. .weebly.com, so DIALMFORMASON.WEEBLY.com.
That's James Wright, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead, Carl.
I was just going to say, the number 11, there's 22 chapters in the book of Revelation. It just struck me then, but 2 11s, there's 2 halves of it. And the 2 11s coming together, a house divided cannot stand. The 2 11s have come together in the book of Revelation and nullify each other maybe, and that's why they don't win it. Interesting, very interesting.
Dory, you got some final words for all the people out there?
It was a wonderful show, and it was a freak accident, but nothing's a coincidence. What a great night. Thanks, James. I know. Thank you all. I had such it was so cool.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, James, for coming on.
Thanks, James.
On the GrayZone, brother.
Thanks, Carl. Thanks, JP.
Thank you.
Noreen, your turn.
Oh no, I'm just amazed by all this synchronicity and how it all came together. I know, Rectify, you're thinking, what am I going to do with this show in the beginning, right? And then it's like, it all just was,
It's like picking up a guitar nowadays. It's like, I'm just going to freestyle. If I even try to prep, it's going to fall apart, so.
Oh, I still prep a little bit. Yeah, I think you just never know what nights are going to be, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm there for you anytime. Ring my doorbell.
Trying to line up. Would you like to talk to Dane Wigington if you could?
Who's this now?
Geoengineering.org, Dane Wigington. I'd love to have him on for chat.
Yeah, hook it up anytime. I mean, if it works for his schedule.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'll see how he does do lectures, but I don't know if he's into the radio thing quite yet. Or we'll see.
Yeah, I'll take anything I can get. I don't mind interviewing him, even though it's a round table. We'll just give him a seat at the round table and we'll flow.
I like that.
I want your words of wisdom, my friend, from the Atlantic view.
We are all Temples of Solomon, and we can all reach these levels. Don't worry too much about those around you that are not willing to listen. The segregation will happen, and it will not be a horrible thing. They will have their time when it comes. Another word for numerology, another way of looking at it, would be geometria.
Yeah.
But a very important thing that is very important. What you do with love. Every thought matters, and I don't mean lust. Love means accepting all, including those you don't like. I finished there, Rectify. Over.
My words of wisdom
Go ahead.
Eat your fiber. Keep your intestines clean. Because if you don't, you're not going to absorb what you need, and we barely have what we need in the food that we consume these days. So, kind of sounds dirty, but it's the truth. So, yeah, it's been a good 2 hours, guys. I appreciate you all. It's the TheGrayZone Roundtable every Tuesday.
Has the music come up yet?
Plug your show, Noreen. Go ahead.
I just wonder if the music came up yet. Mine is Wild at Heart Roundtable. It's preceding Rectify's GrayZone, and that would be 12 midnight Tuesday. So tune in for my roundtable and Rectify's. It follows me. Yes.
It's always a party.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so as we wait for the music, it's going to be probably 30 seconds from now. Should we have a countdown? Let's do a chat room hello real quick. Hello, Nighthawk, Cat, Hal 9000, Hammerhead, Justin Time, Cerise Sunflower, VO Bear, Jer Bear, Joke, Billy Hayes, Dorriebar, Kyle, myself, Rectify, Avaris, and Andro User 2, Aussie Paul, Channel 11, Share 6, Sindolo, Delta, Dude Guy, Freefall, ICD99, iUser 65284, James, Casey, Ken, Lozo, Lulu, Mac, this DJ Modius, Mo Brown, Mop, Mr. Rowe, Noodles, Noreen, Rapsy, RD47, Red Shifty, Rick Rock, Cenobium, Simply Red 707, Topanga, Trumjar, Zarg, and Zap. With the roundtable, this is Rectify signing off. Peace out.
Listening to Revolution Radio. Happy